Hi, my dear friends. I'm sure all of you are doing fine. As always, a very happy moment and a delight to come and speak to you on contemporary and topics of relevance both to life and careers. Again, a very interesting topic today, and this topic is on careers, particularly career options. So, this is a part of a series of videos which will come on career options. So, if you're really not looking at career options or exploring options, I probably would urge you to skip this video. And earlier on, I put up a video on career options in terms of why executive search as a field is a wonderful place to be in, irrespective of what point of your career you are in. In this video, I will talk about public relations, PR as a profession, and why PR is a fascinating place to be in case you really understand the dynamics of the place, you really are keen and looking at career option in communications and public relations. Firstly, for starters, I think we need to really dispel some mistaken notions about public relations. One big mistaken notion is a PR job is a front office job, or like for example in the hotel industry you have front office desk people like that. In any office you have front office desk people or reception and things like that. I've seen a lot of people misunderstand PR for that. That probably is also called as PR in some parts of the world, but essentially PR itself means public relations. And what public relations is, to put it in a very simple term, creating or crafting the image for organizations, individuals, brands, or any property across media. That is to put it in a nutshell. If I have to translate this into common man's parlance, if you pick up any newspaper and you go through the pages of the newspaper or magazine and you see news related to companies, results, related to new product launches, related to media personalities, related to film personalities. Somewhere in all this there is a PR agency involved, a public relations agency involved, and the role of this public relations agency is to craft the image of the client which they are handling. And this client can be anything. This client can be a large organization, this client can be an IT firm, this client can be a manufacturing company, this client can be an actor or actress, this client can be a television media personality. It goes on and on and on. Essentially PR is image management. So that is why in the PR industry you see designations in the hierarchy says image managers, senior image managers, image director and things like that, which means that an image director or somebody at that level with a team of people is going to handle branding or managing the image of any prospective client or new client or an existing client. So that is how it is. So this is the dynamics, or this is how the PR business is all about. And the basic qualities which are required in terms of what is required of a PR professional or an aspiring PR professional are two things. One is, I will put it this way, an ability to tell stories, craft stories, create stories out of nothing. When I say out of nothing, obviously if your client has to be in the news continuously, there has to be different kind of stories about the client. There can be a product launch, there can be a 100th employee who's joining the organization, there can be a 1,000 crore turnover mark, and if it is a startup, every round of funding is news. So it goes on and on and on, and it all depends on how much of imagination the PR professional has in terms of bringing out his client's name in the media. And so this is the fundamental quality of anybody who wants to be a PR profession. Somebody who is communicating excellently, somebody who's great communication skills, both verbal as well as written. And when I say written, not just English, it also means a lot of skills in the vernacular media, because we should remember that we as a country, India as a country, is very diverse. You got so many regional language newspapers, starting from Tamil in the south to Kashmiri in the north, to Assamese in the east and Gujarati in the west. So you've got probably 100 or 150 newspapers in regional languages. Besides, of course, you have mainline newspapers. What are mainline newspapers? Mainline newspapers are newspapers like your Hindu, Indian Express, Hindustan Times, Times of India, Economic Times, Business Line, Business Standard and stuff like that. So these are called as mainline newspapers, business magazines, general interest magazines, niche magazines like magazines for electronics, magazines for cement industry, goes on and on and on. So all this all this is called as a media, and media relations in the PR business is essentially the job of bringing out the news about your client in these media. And today this facet of what media is completely changed. Earlier on it used to be what is called as conventional media, and when we say conventional media, this is print media, because that was the only option which was available maybe 20 years back or 10 years back. But today digital media has taken a huge role in terms of image management. Google News is the biggest platform for news across the globe, and anybody who wants to be seen more than being seen in a newspaper or a magazine column has to be seen online. So that is why the business itself has transformed very, very drastically, thanks to the advent of technology, thanks to the advent of online news as a big source of news, source of information, disseminating information to people across the globe. So in that sense, the face of media itself has changed, and any PR professional has to be in tune with what are the changes happening in the media space across all kinds of media. It can be electronic media, it can be print media, it can be magazines, it can be newspapers, it can be online magazines, it can be college magazines, in-line magazines, goes on and on and on. So this is the nutshell of the PR business. This is what the PR business is all about. PR business is not really that lady who smiles at you in a 5-star hotel lobby. No, not really. That is a receptionist or a front office job. Real PR is a part of, although in many organizations, in smaller organizations, is a part of marketing. But PR itself is a huge area and gaining more and more prominence in the recent decades, mainly because news making is what is all about. Images are made or broken in the news media, and what people see in the media is what they believe. Like for example, imagine there's an XYZ company, and the XYZ company is, you know, the inside things of this XYZ company. XYZ company probably is not a wonderful company. It has got some average products, it has got some average people, but how it is portrayed in the media is very, very different. You'll see that they talk about a lot of innovative projects in the company. They talk about innovative technology being used to the company, wonderful people in the company and things like that. Here again, I'm not trying to find fault with the content of the organization, what is there within the organization. What I'm trying to say is that is why PR itself has become very, very important, because public relations has the ability to probably tell stories which are not seen anywhere else, and that is why any organization today wants to be perceived as a good employer, perceived as a good product company, a good service company, as someone who is doing yeoman service to the people of the country. So in all this, PR plays a very, very crucial role, and it is PR agencies and PR professionals who really are behind all this. And if you want to be a part of that story, or the part of the large corporate stories, then you need to be in PR. So in terms of qualification, I think fortunately or unfortunately, PR itself doesn't have too many exclusive or dedicated qualifications. I think, of course, you've got a lot of institutes which give diplomas in PR. There are a couple of dedicated schools which teach PR off late, maybe in the past decade or so. But otherwise, PR has been very, very dominant in the Indian media, Indian landscape, corporate landscape, for about 2-3 decades or even more. And essentially, there are who are people working in these PR agencies or PR public relations organizations. These are people who really have a flair for communication, who really have a flair for storytelling, who are able to tell stories, who are able to understand their clients well, clients' requirements well, see what kind of stories can be highlighted and told. So it goes. That is how this goes. So broadly, although there is not a very, very clear structure in terms of what this business is, what this business means, not a very clear perception from the outside world in terms of what PR is. One needs to have a lot of initiative, a lot of drive to work very closely with your prospective clients, highlight to them the need for PR in today's world, tell them the importance of how significant it is to be told, seen in the right purview in the media, right perception in the media, and sell them the idea that they're required to work with PR professionals to craft their image. So this is in a nutshell about what PR business is all about. Of course, you could probably do a lot of research on the internet about how PR was born and things like that in the United States of America. and how some of the best campaigns in PR were conducted. But essentially, if you need to be PR professional, you have to have an inclination or inkling to work with clients, understand what their products are, services are, see what stories can be told to the world, set up interviews of the company's leaders with media. When I say media, journalists in the media, eminence journalists, and these journalists can be in the print media, broadcast media, electronic media, and so on and so forth. Like for example, if you take a business channel, you probably are having numerous talking heads programs throughout the day. And believe me, while most of these programs are conducted by there is a program coordinator in the broadcast channel who is reaching out to the people. There are also a whole set of PR agencies who are trying and position their clients in front of the audience, national media audience or the TV audience, and help their clients or the client representatives gain mileage on broadcast TV. This is why all through the day, 24 hours a day, you find people, eminent business people, eminent business leaders keep talking about specifically in exclusive business broadcast news channels. It can be moneycontrol.com, it can be Economic Times Television, go on and on and on. So essentially anything which you see in the media today, anything which you see as news, or probably a majority of what you see as news is basically an output which comes from the work of PR agencies. PR agencies are a bunch of PR professionals. Like any other organization has a hierarchy, PR agencies also have hierarchy, and essentially if you want a role in the hierarchy, you need to probably grow from within the organization. Initially you will probably start off as an intern in PR, first of all to understand what PR is all about, gain an insight into how PR works, what kind of things make news, right beginning from tracking news. For example, essentially in those olden days, an intern in a PR agency would pick up a whole bunch of newspapers, about 20-30 newspapers every day, and scan the newspapers for anything which could be PR generated news. That is how the business was understood initially. Of course, now you have Google News is a huge platform. All you have to do is go and do a Google search about any specific industry and see which all clients are featured, which all companies are featured there, and in case you have a client in that particular industry, how to position them and feature them in the news. So this is how the business broadly works. By no stretch of imagination is what I say very, very exhaustive, but in fundamental principles, this is what the business is all about, and these are the kind of people who work in PR, people who have an interest in news, people who have an interest in writing, a lot of good writing. I mean, writing can be in regional languages, writing can be in English, or writing can be Hindi, which is our national language. So anything, people who can write very well, write fascinating stories out of very, very mundane stuff, write stories about their clients. If your client has got a new award, if it is a manufacturing company and the manufacturing company has got a Deming Prize, that is a huge news which can be tom across all kind of media. It can be print media, English media, electronic media, television media, breaking news, whatever. So this is how the entire business works. As I said, this is not a very, very highly evolved business like other industries like manufacturing, textiles, IT, non-IT industries, etc., etc. But PR is probably a very, very fast business, because as the life cycle of any news is very, very short, you need to push your client to be in the news maybe the next day, the next few hours or so, and that also dies down very quickly. For example, earlier on with newspapers, the life cycle of any news was about 24 hours, but today with the advent of electronic news and with the advent of internet and social media platforms like Twitter or Facebook and things like that, the life cycle of any news is probably 1 or 2 hours, and there's some other breaking news which takes over. So it is in that sense a battle for eyelids, and in this battle for eyelids you need to really see how best you can improve the perception of your client organization. Again, client organization is a very, very loose term. It can be anything. It can be a large corporate, it can be a small corporate, it can be a startup, it can be an individual, it can be a faculty with an IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, it can be an actor who's an upcoming actor and looking for more and more opportunities. So it goes on and on and on. It is an endless prospective list of clients across the length and breadth of the country. and behind the scenes there are probably hundreds and hundreds of PR professionals who are working so hard day in and day out to bring out coverage for their clients across media. And today, as I told in the early part of the video, digital media has taken over completely. And when I say digital, it is essentially a combination of electronic and online media. And digital media today leads or shows the direction in terms of where PR should move and things like that. Of course, that said, the role of print media cannot be undermined. Even today, any client, any prospective client or new client or existing client really wants to see themselves in the front page news of Economic Times, Business Line and Business Standard and those kind of large and leading business newspapers, because those are the relevant newspapers for business news. And any client or any business house wants to be seen in that part, and it is all a PR professionals working relationships with journalists across media which will bring out this news. So relationship building is a very, very important a part of any PR professional, because essentially it is not fully automated. If you have to have your company's news or client's news come out in a particular media, you need to understand who writes about it in that particular media. For example, if your client's news has to come out in the Hindu, which is a Chennai headquartered newspaper, and your client is probably an auto components manufacturer, you need to really find out from the Hindu as to who is an auto component manufacturer journalist is, which journalist is covering, as they call it as beats. Every media house has got one whole set of journalists who are assigned very, very different beats. Again, it is very, very dynamic. One day one journalist could be on a beat, he could be assigned a very, very different beat after a month or so or 15 days or so. At the same time, there are also veteran journalists who cover the same beat for 10-20 years. So it is all a part of learning. You need to really understand media houses, understand the workings of media houses, understand the hierarchy of media houses in terms of how there's an editor at the top of the newspaper, then you have a senior team of journalists, then you have a whole bunch of reporters, then you have reporting interns, then you also have a newsroom and stuff like that. Again, what I'm telling you is just a depiction of how the newsroom is, but as a PR professional, you will be privy to a lot of things which happen in these organizations in terms of who reports to whom and who is the boss in terms of deciding what should come out in news and what should not come out. So it is essential that public relations professional also have to constantly keep working on forging a relationship with this whole bunch of journalists across media houses. Media houses are spread across the country, and depending on which media you are targeting, their headquarters could be in a different place. Many national newspapers and magazines have their head offices in Mumbai or Delhi, but there are also a whole bunch of newspapers and magazines in other locations as well. Chennai has got a few, Bangalore has got a few, Pune has got a few, Kolkata has got a few. So essentially you need to have a network of PR professionals who work with these journalists across the country, and that is what is called as media relations in popular public relations parlance. In any PR agency or a public relations company, there are two distinct entities. One entity is a client servicing team. This client servicing team is also responsible for generating business from clients. So their job is to pitch to the clients about the benefits of PR and why your organization or your PR agency should be employed by the company to bring out news about them. The other set of people are media relations professionals who really constantly work with companies who have got signed up with the company or with the PR agency to generate news about them. And once this sign up happens on an annual basis or on a continual basis, a whole set of media relations professionals constantly work with this client, understand what is the news in their organization and disseminate this in terms of various tools. And these tools are very, very different tools. There are press notes, there are press releases, press briefings, press conferences, calling for press conferences, calling for a tete-a-tete with the top leaders of the organization. Again, there are numerous tools in a PR professional's armor. Once you get into the PR profession, you will understand what these tools are, and you will have a better understanding or appreciation of what all can be done from a PR perspective for any client organization. But depending on what all can be done, you need to really go backwards to the media organization and find out who is the right Spock, a single point of contact for anything you want to do. Press releases are normally mailed to the editor of the newspaper. If it is a story about a particular industry, the PR professional has to identify who is a reporter or a senior reporter who's been assigned that particular industry, which is called as beat. So it goes on and on and on, and it is very, very dynamic. Thanks to the advent of technology, even artificial intelligence has taken over a large part of reporting in many organizations, and media organizations have also become very, very lean compared to earlier. Earlier on, if a media organization had about 100 people doing a reporting job for a newspaper, today that is about 6 or 7 people or 10 or 15 people, and this is also very dynamic. You have a lot of attrition in the journalist fraternity, so tracking the media itself is a huge task, and it is a very, very, very strenuous and challenging task. Calls for a lot of relationship building, calls for a lot of intelligence, calls for a lot of understanding of an entire array of industries, an entire array of businesses in each location. Like for example, if you are in Bangalore and if you are working in a technology space as a PR professional, you really have to have a very vast understanding of who all are the top clients, top PR, top companies who are using PR agencies. It could be Infosys, it could be Wipro, it could be TCS, there could be 100 other technology companies. Likewise, multinational companies like 3M, Bosch, etc., etc. So the landscape for PR is very, very huge, and the opportunity is also very, very huge for PR as a business. And in that sense, if you are really passionate about crafting a long-term career in terms of communication, public relations is a wonderful space to be in. Again, as I keep saying, these podcasts are primarily to highlight the kind of scope, opportunity, and give you an understanding and insight of how this industry works and what kind of skills and competencies may be required. This can in no way be exhaustive. If you really want more and more information, you need to probably resort to reading more and more on the internet, doing research on PR agencies, and understanding how the PR business works. Of course, my favorite place to learn about new stuff is a place like Udemy. Platforms like Udemy offer hundreds and hundreds of courses across anything you want to learn. And if you really want to have more details about what is PR about and have an entire courses on PR, there are some wonderful people out there on Udemy who are offering PR courses. These are very, very quick courses, and maybe just if you have to spend about a week's time, you can really finish 1 or 2 courses and have a detailed understanding of what PR is, how it works and things like that, much more than what I have told you here. My whole idea of this video is to highlight the fact that if you really are considering career opportunities fresh out of college or probably in early career, public relations is a wonderful place to be in, and public relations is really a very, very promising place to be in terms of PR is all about. I'm sure this podcast has helped you in understanding PR is all about. In case you want more information, maybe you can leave a comment here and let me know. There's also another common phrase which you'll constantly keep coming across in the PR business or the communications business. What is it? It's commonly called as corporate communication. Now, what is corporate communication? Is again communication about the company itself, and this can be broadly divided into both internal and external communication. Large organizations, essentially organizations with hundreds and thousands of employees, essentially will require tools which are required to communicate effectively even within the organizations, bring in effective communications, bring in effective employee engagement and cross-functional relationships between various teams and things like that. This is also a role which communication professionals take upon themselves with the help of a team, and this team which crafts the entire communication strategy and implements it within the organization is called as the corporate communications team. So in many large organizations, what is called as public relations is also called as corporate communications, because it is essentially internal communication and external communication within and outside the organization. The internal communications team will work on things like employee engagement, employee communication, communication amongst leaders and things like that, whereas external communication is responsible for dealing with all external stakeholders, which includes the media at large. And for this media, to handle this media at large, they might also take the help of public relations agencies with their PR professionals. So it is more about semantics and where these PR professionals or communication professionals are sitting, whether they are sitting at the PR agency end or at the client end meaning company end. But essentially in terms of the roles and in terms of what are the skills and competencies required, it is broadly the same: effective communication skills, effective storytelling skills, and an excellent ability to strike a chord with the media and sell to the media stories of a client and client organizations. This is what these are the skills that would be called for in PR business. Again, depending on which level the person in, whether if you are at an entry level or at a senior most level, the depth of skills and the depth of competencies will vary. But essentially, as you go along the ladder, you can learn and pick up a lot of things. Thankfully, because there is no prerequisite in terms of educational qualifications or educational criteria, anybody with a passion for communication, anybody with a passion for what I call as news making can easily fit into the PR business. But in terms of the nature of the business, it is a very, very fast paced business. Your reaction time has to be very fast, and the turnaround time for executing assignments and bringing in results according to the expectations of clients, it will be very, very high. To that extent, yes, these are high pressure jobs, but these jobs also off late have started paying very, very well. The salaries and compensation would be on par with the best in the industry, and some of the bright PR professionals get paid very, very well across organizations. Like for example, if you look at companies who have a corporate communications team, the head of corporate communications team would be at a very, very high compensation, with all the members of the communication team will be very, very paid well. And same applies for PR agencies as well. It is not really less. The compensations are fairly reasonable and at par with the industry standards across all other industries. So in that sense, it's very, very lucrative. There is no need to worry about that aspect as well. So I hope this is as much I have to say now. I am sure you'll find this entire episode useful, and in case you are looking for a PR career track, then for sure you can consider public relations as an option. Thanks speaking to you. I'll again connect with you soon with another episode. Wonderful speaking to you. If there are people who are exploring career options in your network, please share it with them.